Monday, September 27, 2010. It's a committee of the whole meeting. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to make this meeting official, I ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, please.
Gutenkopf. Here. Peasant. Here. Shea. Absent. Leader.
Here.
Rose. Here. Graham.
Here.
Hipskin.
Here.
York.
Here.
Nybo.
Here.
Healy. Absent. Morley. Absent. Kennedy.
Here.
Mulliner. Absent. Wagner.
Here.
11 present, 4 absent.
11 present, 4 absent. We have, 10 absent, or 10 present, 4 absent. Is that
Oh,
correct?
excuse me. You're right. 10 present, 4 absent.
10
Sorry.
present, 4 absent. We have an official quorum. And at this time, I will go on to item 2, which is a review status of an ordinance. I actually deferred this to City Attorney Storino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the ordinance for the motor fuel tax, and I did want to report to the council. I've reviewed Chapter 2, Robert's Rules, which in fact provide us with the rules by which we conduct our business, basically. And in fact, in connection with this ordinance, there was some question about whether or not those rules, self-imposed rules, I might add, of Chapter 2 in Roberts were appropriately followed. I think that the most conservative approach to that ordinance probably would have dictated a suspension of our rules, which we've done on previous occasions. Having said that, the ordinance, I think Alderman Gutenkopf asked whether or not the ordinance was valid and enforceable, and the answer to that is clearly that the ordinance is in fact valid.
Okay. Thank you, City Attorney Storino. Any questions or discussion? Alderman Gutenkopf?
So if the ordinance is valid, what does that mean for what we did as a body 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure I understand.
It means that the actions of the City Council were appropriate. We did, in fact, validly approve the ordinance. The ordinance is valid and fully enforceable.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? All right. On to item number 3, which is a status report on stormwater issues. City Manager Borchert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would report that the request for qualification document completed in a collaboration with Christopher Burke's firm and with some feedback from some members of the City Council. You got a draft of that document early last week. It was final edited and reviewed and distributed to 8 consulting engineering firms that had expressed interest last Friday. That document requires that responding consulting firms respond by October 22nd back to the City of Elmhurst to allow the city's review team to begin their work on the respondents to the document. On another matter, I would report that the city has been working in a collaboration with Commonwealth Edison since the June and July events. Actually, we've been working with Commonwealth Edison before the June and July events relative to their service for the City of Elmhurst. We had a short status report meeting with Commonwealth Edison officials today. They report that they've done some significant analysis and would like to do some further work to then schedule some appropriate work for the City of Elmhurst. They're looking at equipment that would be added to the Elmhurst grid, refer to it as automatic switching equipment, and a number of trip savers, which are additional fusing systems to allow for Commonwealth Edison to isolate a storm-damaged section of line with a smaller area outage and then a larger area not affected. They've identified a desire to do accelerated tree trimming and in certain areas that they've identified as storm damage prone, and to accelerate some full cycle trimming. They anticipate about 6 weeks to finish up this work. Then they will report back in a power. We've asked them to be clear relative to their report so it could be shared with the broader community. They indicated they will report back in 6 weeks or so with a PowerPoint that would be something that the City of Elmhurst could then put on the city website, identifying what Commonwealth Edison has done, what they've studied, what they've concluded, and then their action items to deal with that. So that's, I think, a very positive report back from Commonwealth Edison. We should actually see this report then in about 6 weeks or less. That's, we are on schedule with the Burke team to do our first information session with a committee of the whole. That would be the Tuesday following Columbus Day, and the first topic would be the wastewater treatment plant. That's all I have to report.
Thanks, City Manager Borchert. Any other questions or discussion? Alderman Pezza.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Quick question on the review process. Who exactly will be on that review committee, or whatever we're calling it, for the RFQs?
Yeah, that request for qualification and then the qualification-based selection process is a program that's identified, actually has a professional organization that supports it. There was distributed earlier a multi-page summary of that process, and in that summary was the City of Elmhurst identified a review team, review committee, and what was identified there was the Assistant City Manager Mike Kopp, Director of Public Works Mr. Hughes, City Engineer Corey Taberry, and then the Chairman of the Public Works Committee and the Mayor. So it'll be a 5-member committee, 2 members from the council, 3 members from city staff. Their role is to take all of the respondents and then through a very objective evaluation process, identify the strongest teams relative to ability to respond to the Elmhurst request for service, probably interview the top 3 responding proposals, then select the best and negotiate a contract with that identified best professional firm to bring that contract back to the City Council for ratification. So we think that that work would be able to begin certainly as soon as the responses are in the end of October, and by the end of November, early December, we would hope that that team would be able to make a recommendation or certainly make a status report to the City Council.
Very good. Anybody else? And just to give a quick update on the FEMA relief effort, as of last Monday, over $172 million was reported given to constituents by FEMA to this region. I don't know exactly what the breakdown is for Elmhurst, but I have had constituents come up to me and say they've received $17,000, $3,000, up to some over $20,000. So the FEMA money has been quite substantial, and the response has been, from what I've heard, excellent. Quick response. The average, from what I understand, is roughly around $2,500 to $3,000 as far as an average benefit to the constituents. So, but every little bit helps, and we're trying to get those people back on their feet and get their houses improved, et cetera. So, and it is not too late to apply for the FEMA relief, and if you have been denied, there is a FEMA center that covers Western Cook and Eastern DuPage, which is located at St. Joseph's High School. It's open from 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Saturday. So if you like to go in person and appeal, that is a possibility. And please exercise that right. Any other discussion or questions? Alderman Gutenkopf.
Yes, I'd just like to add one thing to that. I got a question from a constituent who was concerned that their income placed them at a level that was ineligible for FEMA, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands that FEMA money is not tied to income. It's tied to the amount of damage that you sustained in your home. So please don't let that stop you from applying.
Very good. Any other discussion? As for motion to adjourn, to go into committee, Alderman Morley, second by Alderman Wagner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.